Talking Junk Network,
where entertainment lives.
Welcome to Talking Junk.
I'm your host, Jason Melendez.
Live now every week on Fridays.
Talking Junk.
A multitude of professionals in different aspects, different walks of life.
You have to come on and talk junk like a normal person.
Welcome to Talking Junk. Tonight you're with me, Papi Sama, and today we had a no-show for whatever reason. Hope they're all right. But we're going to do what our current B-side is, and that's me talking to us about us. So tonight I have for us Migs. Before we had Andre. Hope you caught that. If not, you can check in the archives. But let's learn a little bit about Migs tonight. Migs, how you doing, bro?
Hey, what's going on with you, brother? I'm good. Rushed my ass home straight out of work. Right into work again.
That's that crazy life on that grind, man. What are you doing?
Well, technically, I'm actually wearing my company shirt. You know, look, a nigga look good in blue, but you know, so what? No C's up or down. Don't worry about that. I'm not here for that. All right, but I currently do freight logistics with freight trucking. So I'm the guy pretty much getting all the updates for the in-between of the routes. So I need to make sure the truck drivers are on their way to getting loaded, which is pretty much the shipper. I need to make sure they're on time with their schedule. I need to make sure that they're tracking correctly. And ultimately, I need to make sure that they're having no issues on their way to getting the delivery completed. And
so you work with so is that Spot?
Yeah, it's called Spot.
Okay, so that's a freight company in the sense that you guys, like, what your company does is you manage the freight that's being transported by other trucks and companies, or you guys have your own trucks? Okay.
No. So we're technically we're the centerpiece that holds it together. Our company, contacts the customer that needs stuff delivered. We contact the carriers who actually do the trucking, that they have the truck drivers and their freight. We're the guys that make the deals in between. So
okay, so you're the job broker for them.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, I didn't actually realize that's how that worked. I always thought it was just like a manufacturer has a need of product to get to a certain area and they contact a trucking company and say, hey, I need you to haul this much. But there's actually there's an intermediary company with you guys and others like you guys.
Yeah, a lot goes into it, but a lot more goes into just learning about it overall inside and out because just like us, we have that gift of gab, but we got to know where to utilize that energy with the learning and all the other stuff that goes into the educational process. Not only the work you do, but what it entails to not only make you a better agent, but to make you the best agent you can be for these people, because at the end of the day, they're not robots. They're people getting in a big ass $50,000, $60,000, $80,000 truck, getting stuff that we need, that we shop conveniently in the stores or anywhere else. You see beer, food, liquor, produce, you name it. These guys get that shit across the countries for us. And, they're like our unsung heroes. They don't get the respect that most people think they do deserve because, stereotypically, they're just truck drivers or truck drivers the same. But it's really not that. So, everyone, I believe, needs support. You got a homie like me who's on the other side of that line talking about, Miguel going to take care of you. Once you hit my extension, now I got you. Somebody's got to be the support. You know what I mean? It's not just about selling. It's not just about locking down a deal and then ghosting them. Somebody's got to be there for the in between. That's what you got your boy.
Okay. So that's you. Okay, no doubt. Do you enjoy your job?
I enjoy it more than my last job because what's more enjoyable? It's not so much the job. It's the continuity that I have with my coworkers. Since day one, the energy has been like brother, sisterly energy, and we vibe all the time.
That's
we vibe
important.
since day one. So it feels good to be in a company where my coworkers don't gotta act like everybody's playing for themselves. There's no one's playing for keeps. Everybody's cool. We're on the same page. We're trying to learn in the same direction, and we're trying to grow in the same pace. So we're all there for each other. So that makes it a really good company to work for. And we take care of a lot of issues. We take care of a lot of these loads that are going around the country. So there's a very fulfilling purpose behind it. If that makes more sense. We're doing good. We're getting things done. Things are getting delivered. Right. So now we know those groceries are going to make it to that Walmart. We know the produce is going to get over to the Whole Foods. We know these people are going to get their beer, for the next holiday. So Anheuser,
Right. Unlike there's a lot of jobs out there you can get where you don't necessarily feel like you had any productive work throughout the day. You may have worked, but you don't feel like you did anything productive. And what you do, it's an essential production. You need people to be able to coordinate and make sure that there's people available and be able to plan out and have that network that can keep the entire lifeline of the country going. So thank you and y'all for that. And it's also dope that you're in a company where there's cohesion, because that's also something I have in my current job where, generally speaking, I'd say at least 80%, if not more, everybody's generally cool with each other. If people just don't really like each other, they're not antagonistic. So it makes for a good work environment. And when you have a good work environment, it's easier to work because there's not a vibe. You know what I mean? Yeah. There's not people just acting out and causing problems just because they're being a dick because they think that they've been wrong, but they're really causing a problem for the entire system. Right. So that's definitely something that's nice to have. Kind of in that same lane of what you do for a living. When you were a kid, what's the first thing you remember that you wanted to be when you grew up?
Want to be a business owner. Some real shit.
What made you want to be a business owner?
So since junior high school and high school, I've always had a thing for math, numbers, equations. All right. And I'm a hands-on learner. So sequential learning and step-by-step formats is what sticks. You know what I mean? So anytime that I find myself in a career path or curricular activities that help me utilize said internal skills, it just makes me more ambitious and passionate to keep pushing towards what I'm starting to like more. So sooner or later, numbers, formulas, and the art of business just kept building up until I decided, I want to be my own business owner. Because coming into high school, you don't really know because we're all still young-minded, unless it's really something that you grew up admiring, like a family member who's in the police force or somebody firefighter, volunteer or full-time, or being a hospital or healthcare worker. There are a lot of positions that people have looked up to one another. Why so early they knew exactly what they wanted to do versus how I came up. I've seen a lot, I've done a lot, but right up until high school is when I knew I wanted to be a business owner.
Okay. So in that same vein, was it just your attraction to numbers and formulas, or did you have somebody in your life that you saw that you're like, I admire or I want to be like that person, and that helped kickstart you into business specifically? Because numbers and formula dictates math, and usually those who are math inclined don't necessarily go there. They tend to go to some level of engineering or something like that, and that's not necessarily business. They do, but not necessarily. It's usually heavily towards the sciences. So was there any type of, whether it was somebody you knew or even like somebody that you saw in entertainment or media or something like that?
It's I'm gonna be real, it's a general mix of all of the above. I've had family members who've been part of businesses where they've done things, but long term they're not still doing it, which of course, you know what I'm saying? No shade thrown there. And in between there, I've actually met people that look, just like how you pass by everyday people. You have no idea what's going on in their life. You don't know who the hell they are, but you have a moment to talk to them and you find out this person is on the Forbes list, or this person is like the top 100 realtors in the country, or somebody is just some kind of mogul or business person that you're like, holy shit.
Excuse me.
A successful person can be any one of us. It's all about, what we do to get by and the steps that take us to get to that journey, up that ladder. Because journeys always lead somewhere. But if they're not going up, then you're just staying stagnant on the same playing field, the same ground level. So so in totality, to kind of like make a long story short story short kind of answer, it's more of a combination of what I picked up along the way. I was born and raised in New York City, one of the toughest cities you can live and grow up in.
New York.
And New York, baby. You know what I mean?
What borough? What's your borough? What's your set?
From the boogie down Bronx, baby.
Okay.
Where my Yankees play, 6-7 stops away from Yankee Stadium, whether it's the D line or the 4 line. All my New York viewers know what I'm talking about, or those that visited New York, you know where I'm from.
Okay.
My hometown is the boogie down Bronx, 198 in Grand Concourse. Been there for most of my life until life changed, and here I am.
All right. So going back then down to the Bronx. Now, were you born in the Bronx, or did you grow up in the Bronx?
No, I was fully born, raised, and grew up in the Bronx.
Okay.
Like
I know that matters. So
that matters. And for all of those out there that's confused, 5 boroughs include, Bronx, Queens, Long Island, Staten Island, Manhattan. We're not talking upstate. So if you upstate, if you Yonkers and up north, just know that there's that difference. All right.
Sorry,
I love
Derby.
y'all. Still love all y'all. New York or not. Just want to make sure you understand the difference.
All right. So when were you brought into the unique chaos of New York City? When were you born, my friend?
You're asking me when I was born, sir?
I'm just looking for information. You don't have to share nothing you don't want to. You can be general about it. You don't have to give an exact date, but or a year or whatever.
You know how I feel about confrontations, questions, and line of conversation. I'm not afraid of it, but I just need to know what you're asking me so I can, give you the right answer.
Well, we're just kind of from the line of questioning. We're just kind of dialing back, going a little bit from where it started. So brought down to Bronx. That's your hometown. You were born there. So how long have you been on this earth? If you don't want to say your birthday, how long have you been around?
So I've been on this earth 35 wonderful years that this Puerto Rican has graced the earth,
Okay.
I was born December 22nd of 1986, 3 days from Christmas, but don't ask me how that goes, growing up. It's just one of those things. But
you mean you didn't get a birthday and Christmas?
Trust me, that I get that question a lot. No, and for my family who's out there, who might have something different to say, listen to me. I never got birthday and Christmas gifts. It was always one or the other. That's how I had to live. That's what made Miggs who Miggs is. I don't care about that shit no more. I just care about another year on this earth, another year better than last year. But no, I did not get 2 gifts in 1 year. I did not get that little separation. I would have fucking loved it. Trust me. I was one of those kids like, please let this be a different year. This year feels different. Yo, I was good. I got good grades. My mom ain't had to throw not one chocolate at me. My brother didn't have to raise his voice. You know what I mean? But hey, that's what it is, man. But yeah, December baby over here.
Okay. All right. Well, that's cool. I was going to say shout out to all the people who are joining us, but I do see the one that's here. I don't know if it's the same one, but thank you for joining us. Just to take a quick break here, we do have some sponsors to give you guys a shout out to. We got our Excalibars. Chocolate energy bars are kind of like brownies. They're really delicious. There's only 6 simple ingredients. Dates, cashews, almonds, cocoa powder, coconut oil, sea salt, gluten-free, all natural, and no added sugars. No ingredients you can't pronounce. It's Dutch processed cocoa powder, and it gives the Excalibur a unique, rich chocolate flavor. I've yet to try some myself. I've kind of been psyched. I've been meaning to buy a box. I know Jay's going to hook us up on that, but I actually have a friend of mine who she's enjoyed them, but also her toddler loves them. So if you got kids, maybe check them out. Might be a nice alternative for them. And then we also have Dizzle, our premium liqueur brand. I believe is a cognac and tequila mix. And if you've seen our last few episodes, me excluded, it can influence you a bit. It made Jay a little bit different in his drunkenness and whatnot, but it looks like it's tasty. He's been making bunch of different mixed drinks. You can check that out on the Instagram, and I believe the TikTok. He's been sharing those. But thank you to Dizzle. Thank you to Excalibur. And now back to this interview.
Thank you, Dizzle. I promise next time I'll be sipping on that Dizzle. Right now, I'm just trying to enjoy myself with a tall can. About to spark me a little something. Hope you don't mind. Just trying to enjoy myself after work.
Do you, bro?
Man, I know you don't mind, but you know me. I'm the guy that always asks. I come in your crib. I'll ask if you need me to wipe my feet before I come in. I'll ask, should I take 1 or 2 steps as soon as I come through the door before you say, yo, just come inside already. Just force a habit. Force a habit of gentlemanship that I was born with. So it's like, or habits die hard. Stop trying to kill it.
Now, you say that you were born with what sounds like exceptional manners. Now, are you saying that it wasn't bred into you? You weren't taught into that? Or is it just that you were taught that and you just naturally had an understanding of like, yeah, that's the way to do things, and so it was easily ingrained?
Solid question. It's a little bit of both. Like, I was raised on manners big time. Coming from a Puerto Rican household, Spanish mom, Spanish grandmother, you know the deal. That one met that, you know what I mean? Everybody knows what that means if you're Spanish. So, I grew into how my mom, my grandmother loved to cook, loved to clean, traditional, grown people shit. And I grew up watching that, the way they conducted themselves, the way they handled their family, the way they, took the driver's seat when it was time to handle shit as an adult, like the way we do now, paying bills, sticking up for what's right, making sure your kids are good. The roof over their head is secured. But through all that, I did learn that manners meant everything. As a business student and coming from New York City, that's one of the first things they teach you in a professionalism form. Like, it goes back to the times of you being taught manners. Do you talk well? Do you pronunciate correctly? Do you speak at a proper pace to make sure people can hear what your crazy ass is saying? And all of the above. But it also came from also learning where I'm at. Again, being from New York City, everybody thinks one of the craziest things, hey, I gotta be ghetto. I gotta be taught, you know what I mean? Like, in ways
gotta wear Timbs, gotta wear your hat back.
Yeah, Timberland boots, hat backwards, the whole 9. But at the same time, there are layers to people that people don't understand that, manners is everything. We were all taught from a young age the right way to conduct yourself. So it all stems from that. I've always been taught, say hello, good morning, happy happy day, or good afternoon, or good night, have a great one, please. I hope everyone's doing well. Because you never just want to be like, hey man, I gotta ask you a question. You'd be like, well, fuck me too. How's my day? How do you know I caught the same asshole asking me questions? It's always about proper approach and just proper approach. Because your approach is everything. Everything else in between that what we do, how we talk, how we vibe, that's gonna come naturally. But the one thing that doesn't come naturally is manners. So it's one of the things that you got to critique and sharpen yourself to make sure that no matter how ghetto, how upscale, how bougie, how uptight or college-based, whatever the fuck you want to label people, no matter who you meet out there, show manners, show respect. That's always number one. And that's something that stuck with me throughout the years as I've watched others not do it. So it was a learning curve and an experience in itself. Like, okay, I see this person saying, here's why you say this, and that, how you go about this, that, and the fifth. But when you see people who also had that same conversation, took in that information and didn't use it, then it tells you about that person. Like we all know, and we've heard the famous quote, with great power comes great responsibility. But in the end of the day, it's not all about power in itself. It's just the power of knowing yourself, the power of control, the power of mannerisms, the power of respect, the power of you being you. So a lot of times it's misinterpreted because somebody is trying to be something else that they're not. So when it doesn't mix correctly, you get the product of, who the fuck is this guy? Whose man's is this? Like you're going to come to those. But that's why respect has always been number one to me, because I don't give a fuck what you think about me, but I do care about how you feel about my approach.
So considering that you had that kind of like naturally and also isn't put into you from your mother and your grandmother, How did it set you apart from your peers, or did it set you apart from your peers?
It kind of set me a little bit apart from my peers because, unlike me, my peers or anyone else for that matter may not have the same upbringing as me. Everyone is raised with a different perspective and angle of how life is based on our environment, our culture. Sad to say race, because it all starts there. We need to understand who we are as people, culture, and race before we can go about doing normal shit. Because out there, everybody judges, everybody's looking. So unless you understand how to walk the fine lines of life, then you're still dancing on eggshells and thin ice until someone figures out, you know what? I ain't got to be on guard around this guy anymore. I don't have to be on defense or looking over my shoulder when I know this guy's in my presence. Stand up, dude. No danger. No danger zone.
Okay. So speaking in kind of that same vein, uh, Puerto Rican, growing up Puerto Rican in New York, were you ever heavily into Puerto Rican pride? Was that ever a point of like where you would kind of break out from your manners sometimes, just be like, nah, yo, fuck that PR is the shit? Or were you always somebody that was just like, I'm proud of my country, but like I understand if like you feel I'm not just gonna react because you're talking shit. Like were you always just kind of wise to the
So,
fact that people do that when they don't know more often than
right,
the fact
right.
that they do?
So this is where the journey of Miggs became the journey of Miggs, all right? Or
Okay.
anybody else for that matter. I have come to that very tough, very spaghetti thin gray area of life where now how do I carry myself now that I know what I know? I'm around who I'm around, but I'm not around everybody in said groups or associations. So of course,
Mhm.
there's gonna be that time where I'm like, yeah, nigga, I want to be myself, man. Fuck all that, fuck all that bullshit. Whoop de woo, in the fifth. Hey,
Mhm.
listen, is what we were raised around. That's the environment we had to live through. But at the end of the day, it's all about the company that's in front of you, giving off
Mhm.
that energy of perception.
Mhm.
Because I could be in front of the most hood motherfucker in the world and still talk proper. Hey, how's it going? How was your day? My name is Miguel. I'm from right down the street. This dude's like, "What up, nigga? Yo, my name is Craig. Yo, I'm from around the way, man. You heard what the fuck you about to get into right now?" I'm like, "Well, shit. I had no idea what that means, but we're gonna be good friends."
I don't know, buddy. You
Well,
want to buy coffee? Can I buy your coffee?
would you like some iced coffee?
Maybe a 40. I
Would
don't
you
know which
like
one you
a
prefer.
bagel? Yeah. But at the same time, there's also that time where it's the other way around. I find
Mhm.
myself going, "Yo, what's popping, motherfucker? Like, yo, what we getting into, yo? We in there like swimwear or what?" And people are
Mhm.
like, sir, I am the child of the Lord. I need you to back up that energy and let's start this over, okay?
To be fair,
How are
Migs,
you
you
today?
are a tall, large man. So when you give
I am a
off a
large
little bit
man.
of energy, you're giving off more than most people can produce anyway. So they're just like, I can't handle it. I'm too tiny. It's just like, bro, I ain't even turned up yet. Well, get out of here. I need somebody
Hey,
who can
you know
handle
what?
this.
Hey, and just to share a little bit of that, there are times I might come off like I have uber amounts of energy. That's because in life I've learned how to control all that. I've learned how to understand myself and the world around me. That way, I don't need to feel weird about trying to be me in the world around me. Feel me? Like I've gone through so much at such a young age that even now at the age of 35 and gratefully turning 36 at the end of the year, December 22nd, holla at your boy. But still, like I've learned how to control myself in more than one different environment. Right now, I'm currently in Arizona. All right. I never in a million years would I thought I'd be in this state. But you know what? Just like anybody else in this world, when you're faced with something happening to you in life that is very life changing, including living in a different state, it sink or swim time. Knees to chest, boost to asses, or you're gonna be on your knees with your ass up. Like, no. You know what I mean? Like I got things to take care of. I have a life to live, a legacy to leave behind. I ain't got time to be like everybody else that want to complain, asking for handouts and not knowing why the world is what it is. You're the master of your own destiny. All right. Unless you grew up in a very tough city like I have been, then you don't know shit about shit. You're in the same basics of what we go through. Make your money, pay your bills, work your way up the ladder of whatever career path you're doing to be bigger and better than where you were yesterday or even 5 minutes ago. Maybe even 25 minutes and 20 seconds into the show. Could have been better before that. It's just you make the decision where you want to be better or worse. Just like a marriage, you know what I mean? You don't marry someone else before you marry into your soul of yourself. You know what I mean? For better or for worse. So you plan on being better, you plan on being worse. It's all up to you. And then the rest will fall into play. But you got to use the same characteristics of how to handle yourself in different situations, just like you would in different environments. It's a universal concept that I've come to learn, not because I learned it on my own, but because of the world and environments I've been around, thanks to being in the New York world. I'm just like, I'm a gigantic dry sponge being tossed into an ocean. I'm absorbing everything around me. So even in my sleep, I'm absorbing. As soon as I wake up, I'm absorbing. Got to figure out how to live in this world if I'm not already comfortable in this world.
Okay.
I
agree with
the feature. Like I can't just handle the energy just off rip. You know, I got to be prepared for that shit.
Right.
Or I'm just very confident in myself where energy in front of me is going to give me what I need. Just like reading a book. You put letters and words in front of me, I'm going to tell you a story. And you put numbers in front of me, I'm going to show you figures and what we get out of that. It's just I create what I make by what's put in front of me. You know what I mean? There's too much to explain, but how I grew up holding
you made do with what was put in front of you to try and get you to where you wanted to be.
Yes, sir. Every fucking waking moment of the day.
Word. I agree with everything you were saying there, except for the part where you said that the Bronx is a difficult neighborhood. I heard they pussy there, but everything else is.
Listen,
that's gonna piss somebody off. I don't know what I'm talking about, but I know that's
if you got on a Boston cap, white sunglasses, and open-toe flip-flops with socks on, you don't know what's coming to you unless you come to the Bronx wearing that nasty shit. I'm just saying, you know. But no, we are a nice bunch of people. We're just like anyone else in the world. I don't let none of that shit fool you. It's not bullshit. There is still a gray area y'all don't know about. New York's New York, all right? If you already know what you know, you should go visit New York being prepared to be open to what you meet. Because the more you shut in about that, the more niggas gonna be like, yeah, I smell fear. New York is like a rabbit dog that don't know you in the yard. We smell fear, you're gonna get got. If you're not fearful, you're good. You're comfortable in your skin and on the side of the sidewalk that you happen to be on. Just don't be a pussy about it.
Just get yourself a slice, say bagel and schmear, and you'll be all right.
Or if it's during the daytime, get yourself a hot dog in the water from the corner stand. You'll be all right. Go take a walk.
Get the glizzy with the mustard.
I ain't say all that, but you know that shit is outside of me. That shit is outside of certain area. Even though Homeboy did the little Nathan's hot dog, little glizzy tournament, whatever you want to call that shit nowadays. Since he did that shit at Coney Island, you know that's different. But this motherfucker really going out to places to be the glizzy gladiator or the glizzy god of our time. That's on you, my nigga. But that ain't from around where I'm at.
If it didn't take an hour off your life, you're a viable profession. He can live life eating hot dogs. I mean, shit. It's just a hot hour each time.
It's just a hot dog, goddammit. It's funny to laugh about.
He's taking 2 days every competition off his life. He's like, I won, but I only got about 2 weeks before I'm gonna die. It's like, so you better eat some peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I heard that adds an hour. So as long as you counterbalance, eat more PB&Js than you do hot dogs, yeah.
Word, and then you got nothing but fucking you got nothing but those hot dog juices pouring out of your pores, and you smell like a walking sausage. It's like
hot dog flavored sweat.
Hot dog flavored person just walking around, just
smelling like a wiener.
But
so before you were talking about you never would have expected yourself out here. When you were younger, where did you kind of see yourself? You mentioned that you wanted to become a business owner, but like when you were like real young, say like 5 to 10 or so, where did you want to go, or did you really even know about somewhere else to go? Was it just New York City and that was it?
Well, before I got into a lot of what I do now, a lot of my jobs in New York were security. That's how I got a lot of my real world experience, by being in the trenches of night, you know, in New York. You know, they say the city that never sleeps. But you know, if you gotta sleep with one eye open, that's what they really mean. They don't sleep for a reason. You can get rest, but you can't sleep on what's around you. So I'm in a city where even the shadows got shadows, you know, like dealing with the real world assholes and scumbags and pieces of shit out there mixed in with the people that are actually just doing their thing, going about their day, you know. As a security guard, I learned a lot of shit out there that coming out here had me extra prepared for. So to kind of answer your question, like I kind of knew where I wanted to go and what it to be because I was just building on. I already got my associate's degree in business administration, and then I wanted to use that degree to kind of like set myself up to be a business owner. Now, business administration taught me how to run a team for the business, not how to run a business. That's why you would go learn said business elsewhere, like real estate. You gotta go take a real estate class. You want to go be a welder, you gotta take a welder class, so on and so forth. When it came to business administration, it just taught me everything about all the properties of how to run a business, whether it comes down to finance, when it comes down to money management, marketing, team management, team building, you know, and other factors. It showed me that before I knew what I wanted to do, that when I did find out what I wanted to do, I already knew the blueprint of how to run it. I just got to find the passion of what I actually wanted to do and the business that I wanted to end up working for or with, if not my own, that would make me happy. Like everyone else is wondering, what would you see the ideal job, or what job would make you happy to carry out? I don't want a job. I want a business. All right. And for all of you that don't know out there, I love the game of pool because coming up in New York City was not an easy thing. But how I found my zone, my solace, was playing pool. And in between, and I'm saying that because it's gonna take us back to how all this kind of like met at an intersection of my life where I'm like, I know what the fuck I want to do, and that's all I'm gonna work on. So coming out of high school, like I said, I did security jobs. I was a bouncer. That my brother, God rest his soul, my brother Mike, he got me a job in a pool hall right down the street from my high school. And long story short, you know what I mean, being a 17-year-old bouncer and learning the pool, because like I'm learning the game because there were some times where the owner was just like, hey,
you graduated at 17?
No. I'm not saying I was a bodyguard at 17 or a security guard at 17.
So you started before you graduated?
Yeah, I started before I graduated.
Okay.
I was just big.
Okay.
So you know, so when my brother Mike put me on, you know, he was just like, yo, we need an extra person. Hey, I got an extra body right here. What's up? All right, we'll take him in. So after I got hired is when they found out that I was, you know, 17.
Gotcha.
So after that, but at the same time, even before I was working there, I chilled there a lot. Like high school years, I ain't got shit to do except sleep and go to school and then do my homework, obviously. But I spent a lot of nights at that same pool hall, whether I was working or I was just chilling. And a lot of times the owner would just show me about the business. Like he would show me about the business through the game of pool. All right. Now, this may not make sense to a lot of people right off rip. So just bear with me. All right. Just for that, I'm going to take another sip real quick. So this man taught me the aspects of the game by talking about the business. So as he's hitting the ball, right, and he breaks, awesome break, but he always says, let the other person break. Obviously, it's for setup reasons. And he said that because he as soon as I broke the ball, he was like, now, do you know why I asked you to break? It's because as I'm coming into said part of the game or said setup, that's like our world when we're born into this. The setup is already there. We got to navigate our way through it. The white ball is the navigator, which is what our eyes would be. So technically anything we walk into, run into, and interact with, it's like the ball hitting the other ball into the pocket. Either you're going into it or you want it to get to another way. And as he's playing the game, right, mind you, this man is making magnificent shots, slowly, perfect, like clean cut, not too much power, not rolling off, but to get to my point, yeah, methodically, as he's methodically hitting in every shot and he's explaining how he set it up, he's talking about the business. So he's not talking at all about, I'm going to hit this ball over there, I'm going to combo this and that. This man is just straight talking about how he's running the business, how to do the business. It's kind of like this next shot. I need my liquor license to be updated. So I got everything in rotation, but I already got the people ordering stuff. I got deliveries coming in. How do I get that shit? How do I overlap everything? So I set everything up there where as I'm getting my license in the mail or it's like said on the way, I got my digital verifications. I'm passing it through, so that way, even with no physical copy, I have digital copy, and I can keep my business going. So he's talking about deliveries. Now he's talking about drinks. Then he's talking about food and layouts of the game. By the time this motherfucker takes me down without me even going, I learned more about the business of being in a pool hall than learning each one individually. And I swear to God, I cannot pinpoint how old I was yet. I'm probably was still 17 or 18. But I knew right then and there that as a business major at heart, I want to run my own billiards. I love the game. I want to master that motherfucker. And
Thank you for the like, Facebook. Appreciate it. Thank you, those who joined in on us. We just had a couple joiners and a like on there, just saying thank you for that.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you. For those of you joining us, I'll go ahead and take the helm. We're talking about some guy in the fucking break room, I guess. This guy. Yeah. It's like, how you doing? Right now, I'm just talking about how I wanted to become a business owner. I coming straight out of high school, working as a bouncer in a billiards. The owner taught me so much about life and business that it made me love the game even more and love the aspect of business as a business student. It's just fucking crazy, you know? So the way it all melded in, it just worked for me because I wanted to be better at pool. My brother started taking me to a bar and playing pool to practice, but then I was already a business-minded business student. And when all that intersected at right around high school times, ever since then, I got my degree, and everything I do now, all the jobs I've worked, all the experience in other places I've been at, are all helping to open up my own billiards. I want everybody to know that Boricua Bear Billiards will be real one day. All right, I'm taking what's up here and I'm making that bitch real. I love billiards, but I also love to teach people because I want to make champions out of people, like a coach. So, I will bring it to fruition, but it's taking a little bit of time. So I got a little extracurricular activities like what we're doing now, then my job, some overtime. I'll get there one day.
You got some time, bro. You're still building there, so that way when you actually hit that button, it's gonna be a significant and foundational build start as opposed to let me just get going, because that's the first step to failing. Now, all of that said,
I'm still not the best pool player either, but I'll take on all challengers because as much as I want to be better for myself, I like making others better too. So
I used to play some pool back in the day. I think Dre might have as well. Shout out to Waterbury UConn. I don't know if anybody out there is some alma mater there, but shout out to Waterbury UConn. There was a game room they kind of had. It was like I don't know exactly what it was. It was like a multi-purpose room, but it had a billiards table in there and I think foosball. And people would come and play pool all the time, and I got pretty decent. Not good enough to where like I feel super confident going into like an actual pool hall, but not bad. You know, I could jump a ball 70% of the time, you know, with accuracy. I can make shots and stuff like that. And the pool is really relaxing and definitely a good tool that you can utilize as for analogies for many things. But that's very interesting that was kind of like, that's kind of going back to the question I had before where I was saying, like, was there anybody that kind of springboarded you anywhere? And it sounds like that is kind of the thing I was looking for. Is like, who was that person that did that thing that made you be like, that's it? And it sounds like that was the gentleman.
It was that man. His name is Mr. Lee. And like, and this came, and I didn't want to make the answer so long-winded, but it's one of those like I have to explain for you to understand because I wasn't raised traditionally. I wasn't taught traditionally. Everything was on the fly for me. I didn't have as much nurturing as other people would have, or or I may have more than what other people got. Either way, I found what was in front of me and I utilized it to make it work for me. So I'm not a successful business owner yet, but trust me, I know how to get there. I'm using that to my abilities to take me through anywhere universally.
Now, that is a wonderful explanation of going forward from a more cognizant position and awareness to the world. But when you were a kid, when you were just mostly fucking around, just like going to school, before you really had that, like, I want to do a business, or did you have any type of common wild aspiration? Like, did you want to be an astronaut, a fireman? Did you want to be a policeman? Or did you have something a little less common that you were like, I want to be this? And like, you didn't really put a whole lot of thought into it, but like, that's what you thought you wanted to do as a kid. Was there anything like that? Or was there just really no thought put into it until you're like, I'd like to do a business?
There was a lot of in between stuff. Like we're boys, you know what I mean? Sports, comics, food, you name it. Plus, yeah, food. I love food. All right.
Like when you say food, you mean like in the sense of becoming a chef?
Yes, cooking.
Okay.
And I'll get to that.
New York's definitely a good place to be doing that too.
Oh yeah, I've got all my culinary skills come from family, friends, and straight up New Yorican style. You know that I've grown up on, and everything else that I've become to learn. So there's a lot more to it you're about to learn. But
okay.
As a kid, there was a lot of different things. I really liked comics, superhero shit. Batman was my homie, you know, because the best superpower you can have is not supposed to be a superpower, but it makes you super, which is your mind. You know what I mean? Your intellect, your sharp wit and your awareness. That's why Batman was always my favorite. He's not anymore, but I'm just saying, like he's overall like just classic. That's why. But as a kid, I watched a lot of fighting.
Okay.
There was
like,
a lot of
Power Rangers. Or you mean like fighting?
We'll get to that. There's a lot of fighting I've been exposed to. Once again, streets of New York. Right. Then
it was a Fight Club at 6 years old.
And I don't want to say Fight
Being
Club.
a card boy.
Well, I was still exposed to a lot of fighting. Whether I saw it, I was involved, some form of sports, boxing, and the overall aspect of always fighting to stay alive, survival. So all that mixed in for me, where fighting was always like, I would love to be a wrestler, or I want to become a mixed martial artist, because there was always something about learning the art of just straight up fight science that made it easier to not have to worry about looking over your shoulder.
So did you grow? So you mentioned like you grew up in the Bronx, but did you grow up in like a tough specific area? Because I know, like, was your place known, or particularly where you were at, was it just kind of, you know, you want to make sure that you're not crossing the wrong people and they're not doing the wrong things and wearing the wrong colors, or was it not that bad?
No, it was in the 90s. It was definitely that you wear the wrong colors, you know, you're going to have a conversation with the emergency room, not just whoever's around to help you. You know what I mean? Like it was definitely dark where I was growing up, you know?
So what was it like? Was it like enjoyable, or was it like half of it joy and half of it running for your literal life?
A little bit of both, such as life, you know, a little bit of both. So it was one of those, like, I wasn't sheltered, but I had a very, very, very Hispanic family upbringing where it was
Catholic.
I want your ass home when you're supposed to be home. I know what time you get off of school. If your ass is 5 minutes late, I got the chancla on my hand and a fucking another hand ready to grab you. Like, yo, where the fuck were you? You know, like they kind of sheltered, but you can't shelter us from a war zone, you know, that we live in happen. It is not like it was a war zone, and that's a little bit extreme. It's just at that time there was so much happening. You can tell there's a lot happening when there's always ambulance blaring in the background. There's always something on Channel 11 News where it's like someone else is in the hospital, someone else got killed, another shootout, another gang affiliation, or somebody caught what we infamously know, the buck 50, or someone gets, you know, like that was a thing back then. It was the whole shit with the box cutters. Like, I've always loved the color blue, but I couldn't just freely wear blue. I like the way red looks on me sometimes, but I couldn't just freely wear red, because you have motherfuckers really come like, yo, so what's up? So yo, what that shit be like? He'd be like, yo, hold up, what we talking about? And right behind you, haha, you know what I mean? Like something will happen. Yeah. But it's only if you ran into those specific set people in their areas, or an area where there was more than one gathered. You ain't gonna have just that one random straight person going like, hey, yo, fam. You know what I mean? And then that shit takes off. Like, no, like it always happened in groups. And I paid attention to that shit because no one did said gangster shit or hood rat stuff.
Unless that's something to prove to somebody else. Because if nobody can see it, what was the point?
Exactly.
Who's going to believe you rapping claim?
I did so that helped me navigate and understand where I was navigating to and from, because you see a group of people, you shouldn't be just freely walking past them, because you got to walk past them, and unless you're paying attention to what's behind you, you don't know what's going to happen behind you. So cross the street, take the train, or don't do too much walking.
Said across the street,
you know what
take
I mean?
the train.
Hey.
Just completely avoid these motherfuckers.
Hey, you have to pay attention to all of those things, unless you were just an airheaded kid and then people saw that and they really just didn't fuck with you, unless somebody was really just targeting to fuck with you. It's just, I can't make it sound like it was a planned or predetermined or predisposed outcome of situations where you would know how it was going to go down. It just either happened or didn't. It was your job, like anyone else or like a great parent should do for you, is just teach you how to pay attention when you're out there. That way, as a parent, you don't have to be like, "Hey, where's my kid? Yo, what's going on? Like, where's my baby?" Like, because that's how our parents grew up too, always worrying about us, always being so nervous and scared. But because of that, it taught us to pay attention to what they were really scared about. So when we figured that out, you're okay. You're cute for worrying. Give me a kiss. You're fine. Yeah, I know about all this. That way when we get into said situations, I'm fine. I just got a little redness right here. Maybe I got a little bump right here. Yeah, I got into a fight. I mean, I know you don't want me fighting, Mom, but I have to fuck that dude up, man. Mom, he punched me in my lip. I have to punch him in the fucking eye. Sorry, I said fucking. Mom, you can whip my ass later, but let me tell you what happened first. Either way, like, their worry prepared us on what to keep an eye out for. So when we ran into said situations, thank God, as you can see now, I'm still here, because not to brag, man, there's a lot of shit that can happen in New York, man, that'll take your life, or situations that you don't think you would be here.
Now you mentioned
I'm still here, so
you mentioned your mother and your grandmother being a main influence on you when you were growing up. Was your dad also an influence, or was he more working? Was he not around, or how did he influence you growing up? How did he help show you how to treat situations?
With respect, he didn't. I had to learn everything from my mother and my grandmother's aspect of being the head of household versus a full family. I grew up in a broken household. My dad wasn't really around when I was young. He came back into the picture after I was already past or during my preteens. But at that said time, I would like to say within, 5 years, no, not even, like 2 years old and up to like 12. That's a major part. Any dad should be in their kid's life. You know what I mean? Because they're going to be, it's very crucial, because I'm seeing, learning, navigating, and experiencing things that you should have been there for. And no shade thrown to my dad. However life happened, however life turned out between him and my mom, it was what it was. So I can't really sit here and be one of those people like, "Oh, fuck my dad." Nah, I love the man. You know what I mean? But he wasn't there until I was already a teen that already grew up, and him being in my life and being more progressively in my life up until this point, it was two halves of a coin. It was one too late to teach me what I already know. But at the same time, now you got to approach me as a growing man, not as your son, because the time to be my dad or for me to be your son is past. Now I got to take what I know and be a man, just like any other man in this world. So once you hit 12 and then you get to 13, 14, you start learning shit that a man's going to get ready to do soon. Making that money, paying bills, sustaining, holding your head high, paying attention to your surroundings, and walking tall. And much love to my dad, but he wasn't there for that first half. But the second half, he's been around. And even though I didn't have said fatherly influences, I paid attention to the fatherly influences around me. So I've met great people. I've met great families. I've met people that have had their mom and dad in the picture, or didn't had either mom or a dad, not both. I still figured out the in-betweens of what it is to be a parent, to be loving, to be there, the protector. And then I've also figured out who the shitheads were, the deadbeats. So by being there, it's almost like a theatrical experience. I'm in the front of watching something that's going to be a lifelong lesson later in life, but I need to pay attention. I'm not just here for the popcorn, I'm not here for the for the sneak peeks. I'm here for the shit that if you don't pay attention to said cue, that's going to happen again in life down the road, and you don't know where you stand. You're going to be in that bubble of the situation, or you're going to be the bystander. How often do you want to be in said situation that you don't think you're prepared for because you didn't pay attention? And I pay attention to all those things. I was literally a sponge growing up. There was so much happening around me, and I was kind of like learning on my own with many people around me to be there for me, family-wise, more than my friends. And then that started mixing in with where family started showing up, or more togetherness with family happened. So again, picking up and just learning behaviors, energies, and mannerisms helped me understand like who to be, how to approach things, and how to handle yourself around people. So
Okay.
I didn't have fatherly advice, but I learned about fatherly advice. I learned about all the things in between of how to carry myself. So even if that
So you
wasn't there,
just kind of picked that up from those in your life around you, or did you have like an uncle or like a big brother type of figure, or somebody that was just a bit older that you kind of could get some things from that perhaps your mom or grandmother couldn't? Because I'm sure they did a wonderful job. It seems like they did, but no diss to women, but there's certain things that a woman can't teach a young man.
exactly. My mom was very, I want to say very religious, Jehovah's Witness. Everybody knows.
Okay.
Yeah, she was. She was just afraid of what the world can do to her babies, not knowing the kind of adults her babies will grow into. So, as sheltered as she wanted to be, we were too strong-willed for that. Way too strong-willed that we knew how to take on life in front of us as long as we knew how to be prepared for it. We didn't just jump in willy-nilly and act like a baby's kid, you know what I mean? Because we know the difference,
I watched that the other
between
day.
well-mannered kid versus just, are you ever gonna go grab
Wow.
that kid and tell him you can't do that? Like,
Yeah.
really? You don't mean to tell me one smack to the ass when he's being extreme, or her is you don't think that's at least sufficient enough to be like, yo, chill, like now you're just overdoing it, like
Yeah.
I gotta teach you right. I can't just let you figure it out. You know what I mean? Like you ain't got no parents to teach you. It's a mix. It was being from New York City. There's a mix of everything. It's not just food, not just culture, not just mannerisms. It's everything you can think of. How to bite your fingernails, how to eat a fucking hot dog or a banana, not to be whoa. You know what I mean? How to walk down a certain street, how to feel safe, how to think clearly. How to even be safe and reckless. Like there was so many mixes of pros, cons, right, wrongs, left, right, up, downs, that it just turned into a center gray area of a theatrical experience. And I say it like that because instead of me being dragged into one direction versus the other, everything around me helped me experience things in a way where it's like, maybe I should just stay where I'm at, pay attention so I can be better prepared to walk in any direction, not just taking off in one direction and going, hey, I guess that's life. Life, as I've been taught, as I've absorbed things around me, my friends, family, and associates, it's what made me. I did not. That's why I said in the beginning, I didn't learn traditionally. I wasn't taught or raised traditionally. I
So you're
don't.
a
I don't
product
want
of
to say I was raised in the streets, but I was in the streets a lot because honestly, come on, anybody knows. You were a teen, you want to hang out, and family's not showing you attention. You're going outside. You're gonna go find something, and then I'm finding shit in the streets of New York City. And the two things that helped me throughout life to give me that center balance of solace, honestly, playing handball and playing pool.
Okay. All right.
Some that helped me get where I need to be mentally. The rest followed.
Okay. So it sounds like you were, in the sense of I can't remember exactly for the quote, but rather than raised just by your parents, you're raised by your community.
Yes, the village raised me. The
Yes.
community, the community of the village raised me with a mix of what they taught me. So I learned shit from in my home versus outside my home. That way, I never have to feel uncomfortable walking in either direction. I could walk with my head held high. I don't got to be afraid of anything, but I had a healthy amount of fear to respect boundaries of said certain things or situations that helped me be mindful of where I make my next step, where I say my next sentence, or how I approach said environment.
Okay. So, real quick, because I don't want to keep you too much longer. I know you said you picked up some OT before because you were working, man.
Nah,
But
it's all good. You know, I always got time.
we'll definitely have another part two. We definitely didn't cover everything about you, but we definitely got to learn a bit. But why don't you share with us the story of the first girl that you had a crush on or that you hooked up with? Your choice.
So the first girl I've had a crush on, or the first girl I've hooked up with.
Yeah, one or the other, unless it's the same person.
I mean,
You don't have to use names, but like
nah. I could be general. I don't have to use names. Um, I don't know.
you don't know.
Well,
There's that many.
I can't say. Well, I'll have to go with the latter because I can't say crush. There was a couple of different girls that I've liked, but then as time went on, I'm like, I don't like this bitch anymore. Fuck out of here. I'm gonna go find somebody else. Like, excuse me. Or this person may not be what I'm looking for because of how they developed in front of me. So I'm just like, not to be two-faced or biased, but hey, look, if you're not already showing me some attention or we have no interest yet to build on, I'm not going to shoot my shots. I'm free reign to go look elsewhere. I just want you to be happy, whether they know it or not. But it will definitely have to be. Well, I apologize if it wasn't the first crush. What was the other one again? First one I hooked up with.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have to go with that. So the first person I actually hooked up with in any kind of sense or form, it didn't happen until like high school, and she ended up being one of my closest friends. And it's like,
Before or after?
no, she was my friend like from the beginning. Like
Okay.
we didn't just meet and hook up or do anything. It was just one of those like we're in a world where we're both looking around, we're not finding shit, and then in the midst of all that, we found each other. But by doing that, it made us better friends, not better fuck buddies or better like partners to do shit. Like another part of
So you're a normal fuck buddies then. You weren't better.
normal. It was like, hey, when I see you, I see you. Hey, I see you. So it's popping.
I see you all the time. So I mean,
we know each other. I trust you. Matter of fact, let's talk about this one asshole. you know. But my first hookup ended up, and I respectfully I'm thankful for it being a friend because you never know who you're gonna meet out there. You know what I mean? So it ended up being a friend that I was a friend to, and it didn't develop to something extreme because it helped me preserve our friendship that we both cared about more. A lot of people don't know how to separate that, and I'm glad I was able to. Me and her were mature enough to understand that. Like, it's okay to like somebody, but when you like somebody to that extent, and that's all you're going for, there's a chance to ruin a said friendship because you care more about the intimacy rather than the friendship, the thing that brings y'all close together in the first place. Because if I don't like you, I can't be with you. So why am I going to be with you? Because you like me. You have to like me first before you want to be with me. So yeah, I can know you can stand my ass. I don't know if you like my jokes. I don't know if you like the food I like. You know what I mean? I don't know if you down with Spanish salsa in the morning. I don't know if you want to see me dance in the morning, making breakfast and cleaning shit. I'm gonna talk me. You know what I mean? Like I don't know what the fuck. I don't know what you fuck with, but being your friend will give me the chance to find that out. So,
all right. So real quick, last three. Favorite color?
what's up?
Favorite color?
I mean, come on now.
Crip. All right.
No, favorite. I don't need no associated gangs looking at me like, word. So that's what we doing in the break room? We claiming? No. I don't need that shit.
Nah, if there's anything we're doing, we're set tripping, and you should ignore us. That's what you should do.
Nah. So blue, like
Okay.
a few variations of blue, mainly the blue Yankee fitted. You know what I mean? The navy blue. Always had a thing for dark blue, but
Okay. What about favorite animal?
Favorite what?
Favorite animal?
Favorite animal? Animal or pet?
Animal.
Bear.
Bear. Any particular bear or just bears?
I want to say particular bears. I don't want to say a particular bear because there are a lot of them that do the same thing of the characteristics I'm looking for. All right, like just like my business is based off of my spirit animal, which is a bear, Boricua bear
Okay.
billiards.
You
All
like the
right,
bear markets then? You're not part of the bull. You like bear markets in the stock, not bull markets.
we'll save that for part two. But that's not what it is. No, it's like so. The reason why I thought about a bear as like a favorite animal is because to me it was like a spirit. It was like my spirit animal. Bears are very kind and gentle, although they are massively strong, big, and fuzzy. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like they are often misinterpreted because they can roar, they can bear claw the fuck out of you, and we always pay attention to more bad things than the good. But if you really did your research on a bear, they are very, very, very not. They are just as ferocious offensively as they are defensively. And I'm focusing on defense because when they're a protector of their family, protector of their young ones, their loved ones, they ferociously protect them more than they protect themselves. And I've always had that about me. I've always been one to support more for others than myself. And not that it's become like a bad trait that turned me into something different, but it's more of like, it doesn't just make me happy to see you happy. It makes me happy that me making you happy showed you how to be happy. And now we can do the same thing, like being coachable about certain things. If I can show you the light, you can show others the same light in a sense, not just, oh, you got to hear this motherfucker talk. He showed me the light. No, because that's a different kind of form or a different kind of, path. It's just, I want to be able to help show everybody the same light I can see, the same sunshine we can feel on our skin. And as a bears are the protectors that helps people see the good and the bad in between while still protecting and being ferocious at it. And not for nothing, I only have one tattoo
You
on my
got
body.
bear arms?
I got bear arms, nigga.
Nice.
My one and only tattoo is actually my business logo. So when I say watch out for Boricua Bear Billiards, you're gonna see this.
Okay.
Right? I don't know if it's gonna be a side swipe or if it's gonna be a swipe down. You know what I mean? But Boricua Bear Billiards will come to fruition one day.
All right.
And that's why I had to say bear, not pet. You know what I mean? As the animal, because my spirit animal is also part of my life. It's my business insignia too. Just to explain why it's a bear.
All right. And then one last one for you. What has been your favorite song recently that you've been listening to?
My favorite song?
Recently. And don't tell me you're one of those weirdos that don't listen to music.
Nah, come on now. I listen to music more than I see movies or TV shows.
But it's a daily thing for me.
It's a daily thing for both of us, brother. Especially Tuesday nights,
Yeah, right? Catch us out here for that takeover.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, shout out to y'all who are joining us here, unfortunately, at the end. We appreciate you being here. We just had a couple of questions for Miggs. His favorite
wait, hold
color
on.
is blue.
Unfortunately, at the end, we got more people coming in. Ask them more questions, man.
If you want to stick around, I don't want to keep you too long, bro.
All right, man. I'm already losing sleep. I already work hard. It's inevitable, bro. And it's not saying that I'm, listen, you got questions, ask me. Right.
All right. Well, real quick, thank you again for all of y'all joining. We're gonna keep this going since you're popping in. Hopefully, stay around. We're gonna learn up a little bit more about Miggs here. Right now, I'm trying to find out what's the song you listening to right now. What's the thing that's been popping in your ears?
Let me see. All right, look. Naturally, as a New York nigga, I like rap and hip hop. But as I got older, I love soulful shit.
Okay.
It's come down to R&B. Right now, strangely, it's The Weeknd. Like he has some songs that
which era of Weeknd?
Huh?
Which era of Weeknd? Like pre-fame Weeknd, early fame, or like right now? Like
it's a little bit
face.
Just like my life, it's a little bit mix of everything.
You always all over the place.
Some early and some late, but it's just like there are certain things that are sung with soul in it. And sometimes in certain songs that he's singing, he has the way he's singing his message is straight up heartfelt. You can feel it.
Yeah.
Here's a perfect example. Usher. You ever heard the song "Moving Mountains"? That man was hurt. That man was hurt.
I haven't
That was
heard
a
that one by no
fucking
Usher.
song. Usher, "Moving Mountains." Listen to that song.
I'll listen to
Then
that.
you'll know where I'm getting at. And "Out of Time" in his latest album, The Weeknd, that has really like it fucking hit me. So like I'll just be there jamming to it, and like like when you have that one song that comes in like and you're doing whatever, and it's like, oh, hold the fuck up, this is that fucking song right there.
Yeah, give me that groove. It's like, all right,
Yeah,
man.
you know what I mean? Like for some reason that song amongst other ones, but that one the most. Damn, man, that shit really hits. It hits. So me being the person I am, liking music in that kind of form or sense, that would have to be the one song right now that just like, damn, that's that song right now.
Okay. All right. Well, to ask you more of another question. So you were in New York for most of your life. You grew up there. You were an adult there. I know you
Yes.
moved out to Arizona recently. Did you ever visit outside of New York besides that, or is your life experience mostly been New York City, and then now you're out in the fucking hot ass desert?
Oh no, I've been around. So starting from the earliest times of my life, including when I was turning 21, I ventured out to Florida. I've been to
Okay.
Orlando, Florida. I've lived there by myself, coming into my adult life. Like being
Wow.
turning 21.
In like
I
Miami or somewhere more tame?
Orlando
Okay, that's better.
is more centralized. I've been to Orlando. I stayed out there for a full year. Then I finally came back home to the Great Plains of the Boogie Down Bronx.
What brought you out there?
Me being me, I wanted to experience. I wanted to get something more out of life that I wasn't getting. You know what? Quick little story. My then girlfriend back then, I found out she was cheating on me. And I was like,
A little bit of a motivator, I think.
you know what I mean? She was an older woman too, you know what I mean? So I was just like, why
Oh,
am I not surprised? I mean, I kind of had a thing for older women because they know how to handle themselves versus the girls of my age where they're just young, dumb, full of cum. You know what I mean? Like we all are. But no, just like no, like we were all just like kids.
that
You
is
know what I
not
mean?
that is not an opinion shared by all of the Talking Junk staff.
No,
I
no,
just
no,
want
no,
to
no.
put that out
Please,
there. This is
please
Ming's
don't quote
opinion
me.
that
I
young women
was, I
are
was,
young, dumb,
we were-
and full of cum.
yeah,
So,
we were all, but we were still all kid minded. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
even growing up at that time, I can still see that we didn't have stronger ambitions outside of what we see in front of us. None of us had too much forward thinking processing going on in a mental state of mind. So that's why I knew when I met older women, I'm like, God damn, why am I so
Now,
attracted
when
to
you
you?
say older women, do you mean like in their 30s or do you mean like 40s, 50s?
No, I can't say age group as I was growing up. You're talking like women who are at least like 3,
You
4,
talking
5 years
gifts?
older than me.
Okay, so not you're
No, just
older,
a
but
little
not
older than no, no,
old.
no. Yo,
Okay,
hold on, bro. I'm not talking about like, boy,
I'm
no
asking.
cougars. Come and get this B rabbit, nigga.
That's
Like,
what I'm
let's
trying to
go.
find out
No,
for
no, no, no,
everybody.
no,
I'm
no,
trying to
no.
get that range so we
Nah.
all know because you're saying older women.
Well,
That's a long
I'll
range.
explain.
No
But what I mean by
shame.
older women, meaning like you're older than me, not
Okay.
completely older than me. Like no disrespect to the older women either. You know what I mean? Like it was just like I've noticed that some of the women that I've met that were at least 3, 4, 5, maybe even 7, 8, or closer to a decade older than me, they showed me something that I wasn't seeing around other women or girls, where it was like, oh, so I see where the maturity and the adult state of mind starts to kick in, but everybody's still different. So it's all about who you meet and everything that comes with them. You know what I mean? So it's just one of those things that I learned along the way. I'm like, oh shit, a lot of older women showed me how what you can expect or what to expect out of women that are mutually interested in you, or when you're doing other things with them. How can you tell? So it's like if you're trying to talk to a girl that just like do like I'm just talking to a wall, like you need to stop talking to walls, then, sir. So older
I
women
find
turned me
it.
on back then.
I find it interesting, but not surprising that at a young age you found older women attractive. And I feel like, and this is me, not a psychologist, just calling back to something that I've heard and remember little about, and a slight Oedipus complex, in the sense that the main influences in your upbringing were your mother and your grandmother, two older women that knew how to handle their shit. And then, so once you're getting out there looking for women, seeing young women your age that can't handle their shit even remotely like they did, that's because you're going to see them as a standard, not such that you see them as attractive, but you see them as a standard of a woman. And because you're seeing all these other women, it's just like, hey yo, like y'all are attractive, but like what the fuck are you
Yeah,
doing?
yeah, yeah. Like
And
you're
it
cute as fuck.
makes
Dumb as
sense that
shit.
you say that you would be attracted to older women. Just be like, yeah, no, I thought, yeah, maybe a decade, maybe somebody in my 30s at 20. It's like, I can tell you, they're women in their 30s are different from women in their 20s. They're either, you can tell there's either a point where they hit that's, they get where they're at and they make do and grow from there, or they deny where they are and they're 30 till they're 50 and then they're 40. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it sounds
And
like you were avoiding the latter and you were learning from, at least dating, if not otherwise, with wise women.
but it wasn't so much dating. Like I didn't aim for older women. It just happened to be like I strangely was attracted to older women because I wanted to be attracted to women my age, obviously, maybe a little younger when I was at that young age. But at the same time, it's like they're doing the same searching that I'm doing. All right. And I guess what I mean by searching is you need to find that person that got it together. You don't have to be at a certain age to got it together, but you'll know when you meet that person. Somebody who's very stable minded that knows I'm in the driver's seat of life right now. Technically. You know what I mean? Like I'm not just living with mom. I'm not just having things done for me. Like I can independently handle my shit
Mm.
like a grown up. You know what I mean? Like, because at the end of the day, are we kids or are we grown ups? So if we kids, there's no need to look for grown up shit because I'm just worried about being a kid. But
Mhm.
as I'm being a kid and I'm growing into being a man, you know what I mean? I'm finding those qualities in women more older than me than I am younger than me or in my same age group range that I was wondering, damn, like how come I couldn't find anybody or discover anybody with those qualities at my age range, but everything that makes sense or what's being told to me or I'm even learning from these women, they happen to be older than me, which I
Mm.
still appreciated because it made me appreciate the now of my age range and group versus where I am now because I
Mhm.
understood the in-betweens. So I'm not out there just like a dog holding my wood. Who am I gonna fuck next? Who am I gonna turn at? You know, it was never
But
like
Migs, that's all men. You didn't know that? We're all
of
out here
obvious. I'm
holding our
trying to be
dicks.
nice, all right. I'm not trying to be just
We
this
always got a dick
humble
and
fucking dude.
balls in our
Hey,
right
hey, not
hand
all men are like that, all right? All right.
with
I could be
with a
as New
gun
York as I
cocked
want
in
to
the
be,
left.
yeah, but you can see what you want to see, but you're judging a book by its cover, homie. I'm not just
Right.
what you think I am, and that's the best part because I can't allow myself to be what you think I am. Gotta be
Mm.
universal. Gotta be able to know how to break that mold so that way you're not said person. Because I don't want to be that.
Mm.
Why would I want to be something that anybody can just predict? Then what would make me so special? Why bother asking me questions? Why bother having a dream for a business if I'm gonna fit the same mold that everyone else is fitting?
So essentially, why be an NPC? You want to be a player.
To any fullest extent as I can to leave a legacy, not just be something and then just fucking nosedive. I'm aiming for better. I'm always aiming for greater. You know, whether
So
I can have it physically or
mm,
just absorb it internally.
okay. Now, talking about leaving a legacy, and relatively speaking, you've kind of already done that, um, in the sense that, despite my name, you're actually the poppy between the two of us.
I'm actually the
You,
what?
the poppy. You actually have children.
Oh, yes.
So, in that sense, you kind of already left a legacy in that regard. Now, do you feel that in comparison to what you want to do, what you plan to do with the billiards, um, is that something that is always going to persist regardless, or do you feel that even if for some reason you find that you can't do that for some reason, you still have had success because you brought into this world children that you're raising and trying to make great individuals, and through them at least being productive good people, you can find solace in that fact regardless of whether or not you achieve your dream.
Hmm. It's a very good question. Loaded question too.
A little bit.
A little bit. I don't know. There's a lot of layers to that, man. Holy shit. Um,
Start at your favorite piece: the icing, the cake, the little
Now, what was the
rose
first part?
candy.
Because when you got to the latter part of it, it just made me think about oh man. I listen. I respectfully, I gotta ask you to repeat that one more time because I gotta hear this again. Plus, I don't have my headphones right now. I apologize.
So, shit got me blanking here. Oh no, everybody look away right now. I apologize. In regards to your legacy, your children. So you're a dad now. Now, aside from the circumstances for that, you have children. You're a father. A lot of people like good dads. There are deadbeat dads out there. Go fuck yourselves, deadbeat parents. Um, that consider their children a legacy. That's one of the greatest things that they did. Now, would you, if in the situation you found you were unable to do your dream, build your billiards um, location or franchise, however big of your dream that you have, if for some reason that was unable to come to fruition, would the fact that you had children and you're raising them and making them good members and productive members of society be enough for you to find solace? Or would you always have that bit of regret or a sense of failure?
Um, you know what? Even if I didn't have the business, even if I couldn't acquire that, I have something that I didn't acquire before. And that's having my kids. So I have something in front of me to appreciate more because it's in front of me living and growing versus an idea living and growing. Um, I my kids is over everything. So even if I didn't have that, of course I would be peaceful having solace of that. But I wouldn't say there would be a slither of regret. There will be a slither of hunger because I need to provide. I'm a hungry motherfucker. I'm from
Mm.
a city that knows nothing but hustle in any aspect, whether it's entertainment, business, or otherwise. It's not. It wouldn't be enough internally because, like any other great parent, there's got to be something you got to provide that would keep you satiated to maintain that pace that keeps you happy.
Mm.
Because if you don't have that and there's still more that's missing to keep that happiness going, then daddy's got to get back out there and fucking bust his ass, don't he? You know what I mean? Like, and that kind of brings me into what I'm going through right now in a strange sense. Like, all my time, most of my time, got to go to the hustle. I would love nothing more than to just be a stay-at-home dad and do everything from home.
I feel like
I
people
don't.
don't believe that dads would want to do that. We'd love to just fuck around with our
I
kids.
would fuck. What I had a
We don't
job
have
where I
to.
was working from home at one point. It's just it wasn't paying enough. So how can I enjoy a job that gives me all the convenience but not the
Still struggling
livelihood?
more.
Yeah, I'm struggling. What? I don't want to be home comfortable but struggling, and it's hard to be comfortable in my home because then now I got to wonder where's my roof going to be at next time if I keep acting comfortable.
Hmm.
And I'm always hungry for more. So until
Right.
I reach that pinnacle, or at least that place in my life where I can provide like some of the greats out there, the billionaires, the business owners, and all that shit, I'm
Mm.
always going to be hungry. But even if I don't have the business, I would have peace and solace knowing that if I don't have that, I got my boys because the legacy I'm leaving behind that's better than not having the business is showing them what a hungry man looks like, what a man with potential can do. when given the opportunity and the obstacle in front of him on how it's going to make him better. Showing my kids what I'm becoming and how better I can become is more fulfilling than going, ah, shit, I wish I had that business, or damn, I don't have it. Because now I'm showing them what means more to them than them.
Hmm. Yeah, exactly.
It's so they're equally part of the journey. Like I don't want the business more than the piece of having my kids with me, but my kids need to see what a man is, just like
Mm,
how I needed to see what a man was when I was growing up because I didn't have a man figure in my life. It was mostly my mom, my aunt,
mm,
grandmother, my cousins, but they were girls, the older ones. You know what I mean? So when I saw the man figures, it's like they just weren't mostly around. Like
mm.
I got a huge family. Can't expect all of them to be there, but just wasn't around a lot of family growing up. Just the main ones that meant enough where they were the pillars of my life. Where if I had to take a step back and ask, "Hey, am I doing wrong? Am I doing this right? What do you see me doing? Or what is your opinion?" Like I had some people I can bounce things off of to help me understand me, not just me
Mm,
going doing what I'm doing and be blind to constructive criticism.
mm.
I
Okay.
can't be better if I don't want to be better. I can't just be better.
Right. You gotta have that resolve, that drive to do and become better. Because if you don't have it, you'll just stagnate like pond water.
Oh yeah,
And you'll
and
grow
I've seen
like pond
people
water.
fall into that void. I've watched people, friends, former friends, and former associates fall into that same void. So it's almost one of those things where it's like I learned more from the mistake that people made, but I've watched that same mistake like develop. So
Mm,
because I've physically firsthand seen what that mistake can lead to, it's strengthened my internal morale, and code of ethic on what to do to keep myself busy enough to not be at that level.
I think in the sense of a metaphor of becoming stale like pond water, it's sort of a gut check moment for people that we all experience. To where whatever you're going through, you're going to be checked to see whether or not are you satisfied here. Do you think you're satisfied? And if you're not satisfied, are you actually going to grow, or are you just going to sit here and just be
Wow.
waste, not
Yeah,
become anything?
exactly. I've always believed from a young age we're meant for so much greatness. All right, look at some of the great human beings in this world that have done things like that, and
Mm,
with everything that I've learned collectively, and experienced, I've always thought about how can I be great. Like we all have a grandiose idea of being some kind of hero, some kind of form of strength. You know what I mean? But what are we using that towards? Like, what is the outlet? Like whether it's business, entertainment, music, or cooking food, like I had to live the life of there's too many options to pick, but I'm equally good at a lot of fucking options.
mm,
So it's helped me create that kind of mentality where it's like it's okay to have a well-rounded sense of compatibility because no matter where I go, I'm learning.
mm,
Everywhere I go, I'm growing. Everywhere I use said skills, I'm owning it. You know what I mean? I'm being sharper with new people, new environment, new situations, new jobs, new groups. You know what I
mm.
mean? Like it
Yeah.
just everything for me is a learning experience that I take it with stride. Like bring it, motherfucker. You're just gonna make me better. The more you beat my ass into submission or to like, hey, I can't do this, the more you make me stronger tomorrow. Because then I'm gonna come back even more hungrier. Like,
Mm,
and again, it comes to a trait that, like, no matter what happens to me in life, I want my kids to know what a man is. You know what I mean? In their dad, like somebody who is a go getter, somebody who is hungry or thirsty for more for them and everything
mm.
around them, because then it teaches them how to do the same thing. Not because we can't always just think for ourselves. And just like how we are in this world, in this podcast and everything we do, we can't do it all ourselves. At some point, we need somebody there. But if you have a lot of those somebodies, you're building a family outside of the family you think you can only have.
Mm.
Because blood is thicker than water, but water flows just like blood.
Actually, you want to know a fun fact about that quote? It is a misquote. It is actually the blood of the covenant. I'm sorry, the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. And it's literally the reverse of what people are always quoting. They use it as a reason why you should stand by family that are fucking terrible and you should probably cut out of your life. When the quote itself is no, the bonds that you make with those in life that you meet are more important than the bonds with those that you have by blood.
And I'm glad you clarified that because that's what I live by. Like I don't just go off of what I think I have. I go off of what I built, how I know I create those connections, the bridges I've built with the connections of those people and experiences of learning with them have brought me. You know what I mean? We met at two ends of a bridge, and now we're fucking discussing things on a highway with a village of people. You know, like
Mhm.
there's growth to everything. And if you're not trying to grow like what's around you and what's in front of you, then you're the same thing that we're walking past on that road. Just a stagnant item, you know, that doesn't want to go anywhere. It's
Mhm.
like there's never an easy answer for me to do things. Therefore, I figure that out metaphorically and internally, so it can make it easier for me to answer said question or said um, situation to approach.
Okay. Now, couple of quick questions for you here. Boobs or butt?
I'm sorry, what?
Boobs or butt?
uh,
It's important.
that is that. I'm sorry, I'm right in between, man. You gotta have ass and titties. Um, damn, titties are good to look
Just
at.
because you like one doesn't mean you don't like the other. One or
Hey,
the other.
hey, you know
But
what?
which one?
Titties, titties,
Titties. All right.
titties.
That's perfectly
I
fair.
want to
That's
say
perfectly.
both, but I can't just say both. You know what I mean? I can't
I
be that
know.
gray area nigga forever. You know what I mean?
I look. I'm with you. I agree. But when you have to go, you have to go one way or the other. And honestly, it, never mind. I'm gonna skip this because it ain't about me, and I realize how hard
Yeah,
the
yeah,
question
yeah.
is.
Just go ahead.
So
But you know what? Like, yo, it was so close. Like you said, like it sounded like you said booze or boo, or I'm like, the fuck you just said? Like, I didn't know what you. Then I heard, I'm like, oh, but you could just say ass and titties. You know what I mean? That's a
it,
clear. But you know, breast, breast or derriere. You know, we trying to be respectful
breast
to
or
the ladies.
gluteus tissue? Do you prefer breast or gluteal tissue? Um,
Upper half or lower half?
favorite part of the chicken.
That's a good one. It would be the breast. All
Okay,
white meat.
double down on the breast. Hey, number one place that you'd like to travel in life.
That I like to or would like to.
I that you would like to go to.
Uh,
And why?
I don't know why. It's just an internal thing for me and my soul, I guess. Puerto Rico. I
You know,
have
it's funny because I was going to ask you
strangely,
if you've been there.
strangely, I've never been to Puerto Rico. My family is from Puerto Rico. We have Taino Indian blood in us, but
Okay.
I'm the Americanized one. I was born in the Boogie Down Bronx. I didn't
You have
move to
family
the
out
Boogie
there?
Down Bronx. Yeah, I got family out there. Yes, I do. My
How you got
dad's
family in PR, but you've been to Florida? You
listen.
moved closer. You still haven't been yet?
We hey, there's a gray area to life the same way there's a gray area to this
I
conversation.
heard
Okay,
that like you can
so you
get
know,
like
hey,
a
I
house for
just
$20 out there, and you over here tripping.
listen. I just never been out there. As I want to go out there more now as an adult than I did when I was a kid. Because when I was a kid, respectfully, my mom didn't like travel. She was fucking scared of planes. She made every excuse and you could think of. No, I don't want to travel. I don't like planes. And then here comes my aunt. Oh, won't you send the kids? You know, there's people that would watch your kids, make sure they get on the plane. No, 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 my kids not going anywhere by themselves, and they gotta have me there. Well, come with them then. No, no, I don't like planes. No, flying and accidents and that. Oh my goodness, she
That's
did
unfortunate.
everything she could to be like, nope, nope. So once I broke out the barriers of under mom's, restrictions, that's when I started learning life and like, oh shit, it does cost money to travel. I see why people bitch about not traveling. That shit costs motherfucking money that we not putting up.
Cost a
We are
grip.
so fortunate to have that. So more parts of aspects of my life, I learned that shit costs money. So I never made it a thing to be like, yo, can we go to Puerto Rico? because I know my mom didn't work growing up like that. You know what I mean? She was partially disabled. So she couldn't work as much as she would want to, and we couldn't get said things as we want, even if it was offered, but still like just never had a chance to visit Puerto Rico. But now that I'm older, I want to go visit my grandma. I want to go visit my aunt. I want to go visit my cousins. I have family out there.
Okay. Well, if you ever plan a trip and you need a trip buddy, I'm trying to go to Puerto Rico and or the Dominican Republic because it's a gorgeous place with gorgeous women, and I'd like to go.
Yes, yes. And I like for all of us to go, man. Like Talking Junk Network live from Puerto Rico, man. Oh, I'm sorry, live from Puerto Rico. Gotta say it with
Puerto
that.
Rico,
Puerto
cabrón,
Rico, son.
pinche güey. I hope that
Not
was
Puerto
Mexicano.
Rico. Nah, Puerto Rico.
Puerto
Yes,
Rico.
my Americanized version of myself has learned how to do the in between, but still haven't visited the motherland. Still learning Spanish. I am what I am.
Still learning Spanish. Ay,
I'm
cabrón.
still learning Spanish. I, my shit is so chopped up. It's worse than a chopped cheese sandwich, motherfucker. Like,
Hey, chopped cheese from Ak.
yeah. Hey, yo, papi, let me get the chopped cheese over there.
Yeah.
Ay, papá, también. Gracias. You know, like,
New York City is the number one city with people named Ak. How
and
many Ox in
papi.
that city? About 4 million. They all chop cheese.
Ak and papi.
Ox and Poppy. They're the only ones who run corner stores.
Hey, yo, papi, you got any coffee right there? Let me get a 50-cent medium cup real quick. Let me get a bagel with cream cheese and bacon.
There you go. All right. Well, I'm gonna cut this one down because even though you stay up late, I want you to get a little bit of sleep. And we have been on here for about 90 minutes here. I do want to say thank you to the Junkers for tuning in. Before we go, just want to give a shout out to our sponsors once more. First up, we got the Excalibur Chocolate Energy Bar. From what they tell me, it's like a brownie. I'm looking forward to try it myself. It's got 6 simple ingredients: dates, keep your regular cashews. You know, we keep it high tier with the almonds, cocoa powder, coconut oil, and sea salt to bring out that flavor. And you're going to be gluten-free, all natural, and no added sugars, no ingredients you can't pronounce. It's going to be Dutch processed cocoa powder, and that gives the Excalibur a unique, rich chocolate flavor. It's going to have that caloric intake, so that's going to be there, but you know it's going to be tasty. It's going to give you energy. It's going to give you a bit of filling until you get to that next meal. And again, I have a friend of mine who has been buying these, and her toddler has been enjoying them. So if you got some kids, maybe try this out as a healthy snack. And then next up, we got the wonderful Dizzle, a delicious premium liquor, a mix of tequila and cognac. So this is only for those out there that have some hair on your chest or some titties on your chest. I'm not really sure what the equivalent is for. Is that me?
It has to be you because it's quiet on my end.
Oh my God, I'm on the 3rd floor. That's outside, and this blue mic picked that up like they were right outside the door. I apologize for that. But anyway, Dizzle also helping us out tonight. Premium liquor, tequila, and cognac mixed together. There's been a number of drinks that Jay has been mixing up on here. I think you can catch them on Instagram and TikTok. And I'm sure tomorrow when we talk about the Chris Benoit conspiracy in the WWE, which it looks like Darby has a lot of information for us. He'll likely be getting a little tipsy on that. So we can always ask him a little bit about that, see what he's mixing up, and learn a little bit of something about Chris Benoit tomorrow. And unlike last week where I just kind of was tired of the moon landing, I really don't know shit about the Chris Benoit stuff. I'm a very loose wrestling fan, so I'll probably be back in the cut. But join us tomorrow. Migs, thank you for being with us again tonight, sharing a little bit about your life. We'll have to get you up in here again once we go through the rotation once more. We got to get to Darby, Jay, and Jasmine. That's right, Jasmine. You get up here and your ass is going to be talking.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. I'm glad I wasn't too tired to do this. I love the family. Love the episode. We got more coming for you. I might be a little bit more tired tomorrow, but I'll still be here.
All right. Well, thank you again to all you junkers out there, and join us tomorrow for the break room. And this has been the Talking Junk with Papi Sama interviewing Migs. See you next time.
Welcome to Talking Junk.
I'm your host, Jason Melendez.
Live now every week on Fridays.
Talking Junk.
A multitude of professionals in different aspects, different walks of life.
You have to come on and talk junk like a normal person.